What's up guys, I'm BTC. In the last couple days, there's been a story causing a lot of drama and controversy about a player joining the Contenders League. Unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation in this, so let's try to set it straight. I'm gonna start out by saying this whole situation is just dumb. I really didn't want to have to deal with this. I've been working hour after hour, round the clock, on some really cool, fun stuff. New hero concepts, more Mythbusters stuff, all kinds of awesome, fun videos that you guys would hopefully enjoy. And then this thing happened, and I had to kind of address it because, like I said, there's misinformation, and I want to set it right and make sure that people know what's actually going on. Let's go over what happened. A couple weeks ago, a new player was added to the Second Wind, which is an NA Contenders team. This player account was named Ellie, and this was supposed to be the first female player in NA Contenders. This was met with immediate skepticism because the account that Ellie played on was brand new, and somehow this new player to Overwatch managed to get rank 4 in the top 500, seemingly out of nowhere. A quick little note about the top 500 is a lot of people seem to think that Grandmaster and top 500 are about the same, but that's really not the case. Top 500 is a whole nother level beyond GM. Further than that, being in the top 10 or top 20 even more so. Typically, it's the same people over and over every season, and for someone to just come out of nowhere and suddenly be number 4 is going to raise a lot of eyebrows and red flags. Initial response to something like this is that the person is probably cheating. Even someone who is very high rank on console is not going to skyrocket to number 4 if they switch over to PC. The same goes for any high skill player in other games like CSGO. They might be in Grandmaster, but they're not going to be number 4 in the top 500 right away. However, if you look at the characters that the Ellie account was using, Doomfist, Hanzo, Zarya, those are characters that you wouldn't normally see on an account that's cheating with an aimbot. You'd more likely see a McCree and Widowmaker for that. The conclusion was that the account most likely wasn't cheating. So that leads into the next most likely scenario, where it's an alternate account for someone who's already in the top 500. But the possibility of it being a legitimate alternate account was immediately dismissed because a woman who no one knew claimed to be the player on the account. So that leaves the other possibility of it being a player who is normally in the top 500 and is account sharing with someone, whoever this woman is. More red flags were added to this when the real name of the player was not listed on the contender pages. As you can see, all of the other players have their real name listed, but Ellie, who has since been removed, did not. And people were asking why. If everyone else in the entire Contenders needs to show their real names alongside of whatever their in-game alias is, then why is this one person not having to do that? There were very legitimate concerns that people were bringing up, and absolutely none of it had anything to do with the fact that the player was a woman. Shortly after, Ellie decided to drop from the team because of supposed harassment. And to be fair, there was harassment, but it stemmed from the accusation of the account being fake and not because the player was a girl. But apparently that didn't seem to matter at all because this was quickly blamed as all gamers hate girls and they don't want them to be in esports. Well, very soon after this happened, it was discovered that the person playing the Ellie account was in fact not the girl who claimed to own it. As it turns out, it was another player by the name of Punisher. At this point, we don't know exactly why this whole thing was done. There are rumors that it was a joke, a prank, a social experiment of some sort. Perhaps we'll find out at some point, but right now we still don't know, and it's just speculation onto why this actually happened. Of course, all of this could have been avoided if Second Wind, the team, had done what they were supposed to do when vetting a new player. As it turns out, Second Wind did not require Ellie to go through any of the process that would normally be required when joining a team. Although it's different from team to team, there are some general requirements for a player to show, including, but not limited to, having previously played in tournaments, having wins in those tournaments, participating in tryouts, scrims, and other practices with the team. This is largely because someone who might be good on ladder might not function all that well in an organized team. Next thing is having a long-established high-rank account, but Ellie's account was brand new. And of course, being thoroughly vetted by the team, which didn't happen. None of it was done. If it had been, then all of those red flags would have been investigated, and the account Ellie would never have been added to the team. But because, as it seems, the team wanted to virtue signal and show how woke they were, none of it was done, and as a result, we now have this mess. There's some other really important things to take away from this whole situation, though, and that is that there is a really terrible double standard that keeps getting pushed as if it's acceptable. Male players and streamers receive non-stop attacks, insults, and harassment every single day, and no one gives a damn. And they sure as hell don't write article after article defending the victim. Ironically, if an article is written, it labels him as bad and that he deserved it, and therefore it was okay to do it. When Ninja was trying to protect his wife and family from harassment and gossip, he himself was attacked and falsely labeled a sexist, despite the fact that he and his family were the victims. When a female pro player or streamer gets any amount of similar abuse, it's considered to be the worst ever, and the entire male gaming community is blamed as a whole. While male players and streamers are subject to just as much harassment, sometimes more, they are expected to suffer in silence, while also absurdly they are blamed and held accountable for attacks on others that they themselves had no part in. At the same time, female players who regularly are just as, if not more toxic than men, are quite often given a free pass on any abuse that they dish out. This fact even encourages some, as they know they can get away with it. A while back, I was in a game where a girl was being extremely toxic, and someone threatened to report her. She laughed and said, "Go ahead, nothing will happen because I'm a girl, but now I'm going to report you for threatening me, so you get banned." I am tired of seeing this garbage double standard being pushed as acceptable. Any problems within the gaming community are not going to be solved by simultaneously allowing attacks on men to go unnoticed, while, ironically, attacking and blaming all male players for abuse they took no part in. This is blatant misandry, and it needs to stop. To prove my point perfectly, all you need to do is look at the response to this situation. There were two people involved: Punisher, who was supposedly playing, and this unknown woman who was the face and the voice behind it. But if you look at any of the reaction and criticism over this event, you will see that it is exclusively targeted towards the guy that was involved. All these comments talking about how bad he is and everything he did is wrong and it makes the situation worse, and that not a single one of those will ever mention the girl who alongside him was equally responsible. Of the two, the guy is getting all of the blame, all of the vitriol, and all of the hate, and whoever this woman is getting away scot-free. As to the claim that this is now going to make it more difficult for women to participate on these teams, I suppose it will, because after this fiasco, female players are now going to have to go through the same process that all the men have to go through. That means they have to participate in tournaments, they have to go through tryouts, they have to have more established accounts, and they need to be vetted. So yes, it will make it more difficult. It will in fact bring them up to the same standard that men have to go through in order to get on these teams. Only the best players will make it, and I, along with the overwhelming majority of gamers, do not care if it's a male or a female player. Congratulations, equality. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.